Spider-Man, Spider-Man.
So today I plan on having some fun with actor, writer, director, comedian, my friend and TV baby daddy, Dax Shepard.
I want people to love me. I want people to believe me. I want people to fear me. All these things I want from people.
Dax is also a huge car enthusiast.
The Metro, I was like, this is the worst car I could have for my ego ever to be seen in.
And I figured what better way to spend the day than going go-karting.
You won! The harder things get for me, the better I do.
I hope he can keep up with me.
About to meet up with my TV wife and real life good friend Joy Bryant. Do a little go-karting, indoor electric go-karting, which should be pretty fun. I think I should have the advantage considering she didn't learn to drive till 30 years old. If I don't beat her, I'm gonna give up on all motorsports. Minnesota Fats.
The color of my name. Are you ready to do some things?
I'm gonna do some things.
When's the last time you went go-karting?
I've never been electric go-karting.
Really? Well,
There'll be no noise. I'm
How
prepared
come?
to fall asleep behind the wheel today.
Wait, but what's the difference between like there's electric and then regular go-karting?
Gasoline.
Oh.
This is new. This is all for the future, right?
Wow.
So.
Did you grow
before
up
we
doing
hop
this?
Oh my God, yeah. Go-karts?
Yeah?
Yeah.
They had go-karts in Detroit? In Detroit?
Well,
in the
funny
Motor City?
enough, they have like the normal go-karts in the white suburbs
Gas.
that run correctly. And then in the city, there was one track on Gratiot where like the governors were broke. You'd be following people and oil spit. I'm not kidding, oil spitting out all over your face, but they went like twice as fast.
So is that how you your love of cars began? Like go-karting and racing? Is it from
Well,
go-karts?
it began with being from Detroit, where everyone is pretty much obsessed with cars. Dukes of Hazzard. The shows I liked all had cars or trucks. Smokey and the Bandit, #1 favorite movie of all time. 77 Trans Am. Was in love with that. Even like Starsky and Hutch, didn't even like the show, but could get through it just to see the car peel out.
That car's pretty dope.
And then the Fall Guy with Colt Seavers, remember Colt Seavers? They would jump that truck once an episode. Again, I couldn't follow the plot of the crime he was solving, but I would patiently wait for him to jump that brown truck. And then my mom worked for General Motors. She started as a janitor there. My father sold cars. He was super into cars. My father wooed my mother by having a sweet car in high school.
What car was that?
He had a '68 Chevelle, white. Yeah, it was gorgeous.
Ooh.
Yeah. So between dad being a car salesman, super into cars, mom working at GM, then I had a stepdad who I just said worked at GM as an engineer. And then getting to go to the General Motors proving grounds a lot when I was a kid because my mom worked there and seeing like, you know, cars that were in development that were being engineered and seeing test tracks and hill climbs and saltwater tank tests and all these really cool, it's like an amusement park for cars there. Seeing all that stuff just got me more and more and more interested. So I'd say it all started with that. And then just in my high school, all that mattered is how fast your car was.
What kind of car did you have in high school?
I had a bunch of cars. My very first car was a '76 Pontiac Catalina that I bought on this. It's a piece of shit. It's one of the biggest cars ever made. And I bought it on the side of the road for $400 in northern Michigan.
How old were you?
I drove it home. I was 15. I didn't even have my license, but I was like, I knew I was turning 16 in a month. I was like, I can't pass up this deal. And I was on. I was with a friend going up to his cabin. Sounds so romantic when I say that. Just me and a dude in 16. Anywho, I bought this really terrible Pontiac Catalina. I had that car. Then I bought a Mustang GT, but an '84. And this
What
was
does that mean? That sounds cool though. Mustangs are cool.
Oh, yeah. It was cool, but you gotta consider this was '92. So the car was 8 years old. Then I started rebuilding the engine in the Mustang, which is a project I thought was gonna take a month, which took about 9 months. So then I ended up buying my brother's Geo Metro.
Oh my God, I remember those.
But the Metro, I was like, this is the worst car I could have for my ego ever to be seen in. Then I was broke as hell from 18 to 28. I was living in downtown Detroit. I was just drinking a shitload, hanging out, and it started to become very clear that I was going to just do that forever. And I thought, I can't be that. And I felt in some way that I was supposed to do comedy. I felt that way in high school, but I was too afraid to try it because I'm hysterical.
Oh yeah.
Right. I really wanted to do stand-up, but I was just too afraid to do it in Detroit. And I thought, if I move all the way across country, I'll then have to do it. So I did. I moved all the way across country. I lived in Santa Barbara for 1 year. I hated it. I then moved to LA. Well, while I was in Santa Barbara, I tried it once. I did stand up in LA. And it wasn't as terrible as I was fearing it would be. And so then I moved to LA in '96 and auditioned for the Groundlings. So I started taking classes at the Groundlings, and I also started going to Santa Monica College.
What was your major?
Anthropology.
Do you think that has had a great effect on your acting? And
I don't think anthropology has anything to do specifically with how I approach acting, but it does. What I believe in acting is I have 38 years practice being Dax Shepard. I've been practicing. I want people to like me. I want people to love me. I want people to believe me. I want people to fear me. I want people to trust me. I want people to, all these things I want from people, like we all do.
Right.
And I've been honing how to get all these things I want. And so I'm now good, or good enough. I got most of the shit I want.
Yeah.
So I would say anthropology hasn't informed my acting as much as it's informed me as a person, and then I try to bring me as a person to what I'm doing.
Right.
I read an interesting Franco quote. Uh-oh.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, hello.
You just interrupted my interesting Franco quote, which everyone was dying to hear.
I'm sorry about that.
What's your name?
Daniel.
Daniel Dax.
Pleasure to meet you.
Hello.
How you doing? Well, welcome to Camo Speed. You guys ready to do some racing today?
Oh, we're racing
Absolutely. Yeah,
I
we race.
thought we were just
Lounging.
lounging, talking, you know.
All right. Tell you what, you guys are going to be doing the mini GP today. We'll get started with your qualifying rounds right now.
Okay.
But before we even get started, we need to do some safety rules, go over that, and then we'll get you guys going. The white flag here means you got 1 lap left. Checkered flag, we all know, race is over, and you are the winner.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and get our helmets on, and we'll get you guys going.
All right.
Great. Put off the brake first.
Oh, come on.
Oh, that's fine, relax.
All right, guys, so that was it for the qualifying round of this event. So we're going to go ahead and get on up. We're going to have you guys go over to the lobby area, sit in the couches. I'm going to find out who won this race, and we'll get you guys ready for
Who do
your
you
final
think?
round.
I'm telling you who won this race.
Who though, just before you look at the data, who do you think won?
She looked pretty fast.
She looked pretty fast, okay. Well, good.
So we'll get you guys going.
We're gonna find out how good your guessing abilities are.
I can get kind of used to these things.
Yeah. You like it?
I loved it. I loved it.
Do you think you're gonna be a go-kart junkie going forward?
I think so. I think so. I don't
Enjoy your
think.
coffee.
Thank you very much. I don't think, now that I think about, I didn't do that before.
You've never done it, right?
I now have a much greater appreciation for all.
What happens in there?
Yeah. So you shot 2 movies over this past summer and fall, right?
One was called This Is Where I Leave You, with Jason Bateman and Tina Fey, and Jane Fonda.
I didn't know Jane. You didn't tell me Jane Fonda.
G.I. Jane's in that.
What?
And
So it was a
then-
psychological thriller.
No, it's from a book. It's from a book called This Is Where I Leave You, that people love and are very passionate about. I had a lot of people call me and go, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're." I had never read the book, so I wasn't really hip to how much love there is out there for it. But and then I did a movie called The Judge, which is Robert Downey Jr.,
Boom.
Billy Bob Thornton,
Boom.
Robert Duvall,
Boom.
Vincent D'Onofrio,
Boom,
What?
boom.
Vera Farmiga.
Damn.
Damn. And somehow Dax Shepard.
What was that experience like for you? Like, were you freaked out a little bit? Were you?
No, I got to tell you, it was a really kind of profound moment for me because, for most of your career, you operate with a lot of fear, or I operate from a lot
me
of fear.
too.
It's a scary thing. Auditioning's scary. People are judging you. You're working with people often that are really good and have been doing it for years. So the whole environment can really rattle you. And I think being on the show that we're on has done so much for me because I was day one of shooting on The Judge. And the very first scene that we shot was me making a long speech to Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Duvall in this upstairs attic where it was 110 degrees and everyone was miserable. And literally the movie began production with me making a long speech. And before that would have really just sent me into a spiral.
Before Parenthood, you mean?
Before
or
Parenthood.
Okay.
So I was shocked at my own comfort level going into this speech that started the production off. I didn't get nervous. I said my shit. I did what I thought was a good job, and I just felt really good about it. And I felt like, oh, I'm now comfortable in this job I have. I now feel proficient. I'm not operating from a place of fear. I'm operating from a place of like, I can do this because I've done it a lot now. And it's solely through the act of us getting the practice, I think that I don't have those jitters too much anymore. And it's such a better place to be coming from. I think we tell ourselves that fear has to be a part of the motivator. Like you even hear stand-ups going like, well, if I didn't get scared to go on stage, I would suck. Or, I still use fear to motivate me to write. And I would like to one day be past that as well, but.
I think that's one of the many great things about you is the fact that you wear so many different hats. I mean, I was on, thankfully, you hired me on your film, thank God, because I hadn't done a movie in so long. You like
thank
saved
God
me
came
from my...
and did it. It was way more of a favor on your end.
But I watched you, and I know that there's probably times when there were things that you were wearing so many hats on this film. Again, writing, directing, acting, producing, and doing your own stunts. You probably did craft services one day, maybe even grip, maybe even camera operating.
Well, even worse, I had craft service living at my house in the form of my mom and dad, who they got sick of that job on day 3.
But how did you, and I watched you with grace and ease, or at least seeming grace and ease, because I'm sure there were a lot of times where there were things that I wasn't, or the cast weren't aware
There was
of.
like 3 moments. Which isn't bad in 25 days of shooting.
Right.
And a very low budget movie with a lot of moving parts.
You were the captain of the ship.
Ooh, thank you.
And I felt that, you obviously knew what you wanted and you knew how to talk to people to get what you wanted. So everyone, aside from being your friend, already trusted you. But I'm saying you wore all those hats, gave 100% to all of these different hats you were wearing at one time when it's hard for to wear one hat and give that even 50%. So.
But I think it's counterintuitive, and the more engaged you are, the better you do at all things. So for me, and I barely graduated high school, right? I graduated like a 2.0 because I gave up the last 2 years. Then I went to community college and I got like a 3.3 because it was a little more challenging and I had to work harder. Then I went to UCLA and it was hard, and I ended up getting a 3.8 when I graduated. Like, the harder things get for me and the more you're forced to really dive in, the better I do.
How has your sobriety been a part or affected this whole, your whole philosophy on when it comes to your art, but also?
Right, so I was a drug addict and an alcoholic for about 10 years, maybe a little longer. And so the majority of my professional life, I have been sober. And I would get sober for movies. Like I got sober for Without a Paddle, I got sober for Idiocracy. But in between those movies, it was getting more and more and more dangerous. And so it's a humongous part of who I am because forces you like anthropology forced me to adopt a way of thinking that for me works really, really well. And one of the cornerstones of that is being honest with yourself. And it seems very easy to be honest with yourself, but it's not easy. Your brain's very complicated, and there's a lot of regions within it, and this signal's saying this, and this, my ego's saying that. And
I always felt that you are one of the most honest people. Honest about yourself, and honest to other, to your friends and the people you care about,
I think that does, well, it definitely affects my writing. Like Hit and Run, which is probably why I didn't do so hot, it's a car chase movie that all of a sudden has a lot of relationship stuff with Kristen and I, because that's what really interests me and how people, it's an unlikely event for two people living separate lives that come together and try to make one life work cohesively,
It's
and that's
a
endlessly
romantic
fascinating.
comedy wrapped in a car movie. It's like
right in the trunk of a car.
great.
So I think in that respect, it definitely interests my writing, and it's the stories I'll want to tell will, in some weird way, probably always deal with like people getting sober in whatever version that is for them. I don't just mean quitting drinking or whatever, but we all have the things that we need.
Getting real and getting sober about your life, who you are, and
and trying to just figure out what are your stumbling blocks, what are your hurdles, what are those things, how do I get around them?
I mean, I always appreciate our therapy
We
sessions.
have a lot of therapy sessions. They're so good.
Okay, guys. So results are in, and I found out who won. Dax, you are the winner of the qualifying
Man,
round.
boo!
So you will start pole position on its next final race.
Oh,
Okay.
pole
I got some goodies for you guys here. Get these on, and then we'll get you guys going.
I don't need no
Red for pole
pole
position?
position
There
to
you
beat you.
Oh,
There you
I'll
go.
beat you without pole position.
oh yeah. I want
You know why? Because I got soul position.
I got soul.
Right.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man. What do you think of
going
that Spider-Man
down.
suit?
You going down, Spider-Man.
You going down, Purple Monster?
Barney.
Barney versus
It's
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man and Barney.
How many laps?
5 laps on this race.
5 laps.
15 laps, I heard.
Jeez.
3, 2, 1.
I mean,
Come on!
who did that?
Look at the victor!
Was that me?
You won!
Oh, hell no!
You're the winner!
Ah!
You dominated! Humiliated. Destroyed.
Annihilated.
You served me
That's
out.
your ego talking, not your soul talking.
Your soul drove that
Yes,
race.
my soul. I told you I was in soul position.
Soul position. Woo, you schooled me. Come on.
You impressed by my speed.
Look at that.
Yay!
Second place.
Woohoo!
Second place.
All right, so you've raced everything from go-karts to Lamborghinis.
Uh-huh.
What is...
And now I just got smoked.
Woohoo! So what's your dream race?
I think probably the Baja 1000 I would love to race. You need a ton of support because it's such a long race, and you gotta have 9 different pit stops along the way with dudes and trucks and fuel and parts and all
Is
that.
it a
So,
multi-day race?
the overall winner usually can do the race in around 17 hours. But there's dudes that take
Straight?
38 hours to do it.
Not
oh yeah,
straight,
the
not
car goes
straight.
straight. Yeah, it
You're up for
starts
17 hours?
Well, no, sometimes guys divide the race into like 4 legs, so I would drive the first leg and the third leg.
Like a team.
Yeah, it's usually a team. People do run it solo, that's called Ironmanning it. I think I could race it solo, but I'm 38 and I probably can't race it solo.
What does age have to do with it?
Well, when I was 27, I would do anything, I'm sure, for 17 hours. But now I've accomplished other things, so my ego needs it less and less. So maybe I'll just do like 50 miles of the race. Be like, I raced the Baja, 50 miles of it.
I like that as a
goal.
As a goal.
Yeah.
What are some other goals that you have in terms? I mean,
They get less and
direct
less.
everything. Like, what is the next thing for you?
You know, I would like to direct. I would love to direct a movie every year. It's hard to do. But that would be that's my goal. I'd also be fine retired. Some people want to work forever, not me. I got a lot of hobbies. I can hang.
If you can remake any movie,
I think
would it be?
Hooper.
Hooper, what's Hooper?
Hooper's another Hal Needham directed Burt Reynolds movie. I think between Smoking 1 and 2. I think that was the order. But Burt plays an aging stuntman.
Ooh.
So I'm getting to be the age where I could play the aging stuntman.
Is this in the works already?
No, it's just what I would love to do.
Wow, it seems very attainable for you, though.
You think so?
Are you serious?
I mean, this is my world, though, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
why are you not already like running around
I
town
don't
pitching
know.
this?
Well, I'm not a huge movie star. If I become
Yes,
a huge
you are.
movie star, then someone will put, then some studio will allow
You're
me
a
to
huge
do that.
talent, so I mean, duh.
So it's just, all right. I'll tell them
I mean,
that.
I think it's time for you to start pitching that.
All right. Well, I think the ideal age would be about 45 years old. So 7 years from now.
Well, it
6
takes time in
years and 3
Hollywood. So if you
weeks.
start pitching it now, you might actually it'll be
That's true.
done by the time you're
Yeah, we'll be
47.
rapping on my 45th birthday.
What do you say we have some?
You want some champagne?
Yeah.
Some Martinelli's gold medal. Don't you? They did that in that Lamborghini races when I was on the
You're gonna do
podium, dudes were
T1.
spraying champagne all in my mouth. Congratulations!
Woo. Well, thank you for spending a day with me doing one of your.
Our one day off that we
Yeah.
weren't together, joining forces. Thanks for having me.
Oh, please, thank you.
My very first car was a '76 Pontiac Catalina that I bought on this.
that?
It's a piece of shit. Who do you think?
I'm telling you who won this
The
race.
very first scene that we shot was me making a long speech to Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Duvall. The harder things get for me, and the more you're forced to really dive in, the better I do. Your soul drove that right.
My soul. I told you I was in soul position.
The Baja 1000. I think I could race it solo, but I'm 38. When I was 27, I would do anything for 17 hours.
Pharrell Williams here.
Hi, I'm Joy Bryant,
I'm Eric Ripper.
I'm Tom Colicchio.
I'm Dr. Frank Lipman, the host of On the Table,
the host of Across the Board.
Host of Artist Talk.
Host of Hooked Up.
host of the show Be Well Week, Be Well Weekend on the Reserve channel.
It's only on Reserve.
Did you know that you can follow my show on social media sites like Facebook?
Follow us on Twitter.
If you're a fan of my show, hit the like button.
All of the above.
Share me with your friends.
Treat yourself. Check out a new episode of my show, Hooked Up.
And if you want to leave comments, feedback, ideas, whatever, love to hear from you. Leave a comment.
And if you don't want to miss the show, be sure to subscribe.
The one that's like down here, or is it here? Somewhere down here.
Thanks for watching the Reserve channel.
Only on YouTube. Throw caution to the wind and ask yourself what rules.